My grandma passed away and ended up moving in with my other grandparents. Kind of hectic living with them, turned 12, moved back in with my mom.
I grew up without a dad, it's just my mom, and like I would always be doing something like 4th, 5th grade, like I'd be leaving my house all day and then I wouldn't come home until like 8 or 9.
I moved out here when I was 7 years old, and that was when my mom, who had adopted me, passed away. So we moved out here with her oldest daughter, and we lived in Ahwatukee until I turned 18. Then I left home just because of differences that were going on.
We moved to Florida when I was starting high school, and things started getting really rough between me and my mom, so I came back to Arizona on my own, and then that's when I got into CPS.
Had a good life starting at first, had a lot of bad issues going up, but just seemed like as soon as I got out of high school, and then as soon as I hit 18, that's when the real world started hitting in. I lived in 2 different shelters.
The slogan for the program is myself, my vision, my business. And so by helping youth identify themselves, their strengths, their barriers, and their abilities, we're hoping we can help them define what a successful vision of themselves looks like, feels like, and how to get there. We have some kids that are actively homeless and are living in emergency housing with us. We have some kids that have been identified by DCS as aging out into homelessness, but each kid was hand-selected by the fact that the kid really wanted to be here. That even though all this chaos was going on in their lives, they still showed up on time for their interview. They still turned in their application on time. So that's how the kids were selected. And since we started day one, we actually have not lost a single youth. These are youth that case managers around them, parole officers, other program managers have just said, yeah, that one, whew, good luck with that. I've got one kid who is now one of our team leads and is being ridiculously successful in the program.
Like I said, going from job to job is not something I wanted to do. So that's why I took this opportunity.
Instead of me running the streets, trying to go do other things and everything else, it keeps me structured, it keeps me stable.
These youth are surviving life and death situations. These youth are surviving horrific conditions. So when you've lived in chaos and you've lived in chaos and you've lived in chaos, and then all of a sudden you're stabilized and you have a roof over your head. You've never had a roof over your head before. You're gonna feel claustrophobic. And then you're gonna get into a fight with your landlord, and your landlord's gonna kick you out, and now you're back on the streets. Well, our kids repeat those patterns over and over again because they haven't felt stabilized and been okay with that feeling before. Giving kids, basic workplace skills. How do you show up on time? How do you speak politely to your boss? How do you resolve conflict in the workplace? How do you dress appropriately? All these kinds of things.
I mean, anything's possible, but that one day I can go own my own business if I really put my mind to it.
Especially if you want to start your own business, like you're gonna get an idea of what you need to do to have a successful business and become a successful entrepreneur.
We're going to have a little over 14 successful entrepreneur individuals come in and talk to the youth. So we have all walks of life, but the one denominator in all of them is that all of them have experienced homelessness or the foster care system at some point in their lives. And they have overcome it and become what you see now. The only thing they'll really respect is someone who has gone through what they've gone through. They're not going to feel the pity or the judgment, and they're just tired of that. I'm a bad kid, I've made bad choices. Can you be okay with that? Because I need to feel okay with that. And that's what someone who's overcome is able to do.
One fight, one bad night cost me 10 years of my life, straight up. Never in trouble before. The judge said, you're a menace to society, you need to be gone, I'm sending you to the state for 10 years. And that was it. Did I not get the easy road? No, I didn't. None of us do though. None of us do, so it doesn't really matter. What matters is what we make out of it today.
Just like you guys, I didn't have the best life. My mom was a partier. She worked in the bars all of pretty much my elementary school and middle school. I get to talk to them and I get to relate to them. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. Kind of talking about everything made me a little anxious.
I felt a connection, you know, we're all young, making dumb decisions. And then as we grow up, we start to realize, you know, life is real more precious than what we seem.
It just inspired me, like, if they could do it, then I could do it too.
Instead of just reading it from the book, I'm hearing from other people who have started their own business and were successful about it. And so it's just making me open my eyes a lot more to what I need to do to be able to get to that point too.
You have to look at all pieces of the pie. You have to look at the trauma. You have to look at the experience. You have to look at the world in which they live in, as well as they need to know how to make a resume, as well as they need to know how to show up on time. That we have to understand what it really does mean to be job ready for a youth that's lived on the streets for 3 years of their lives or whatever they've experienced.
I feel like I definitely have a more grasp of what it means to be a young adult, not just, you know, a kid who doesn't know like right from wrong and what's going on.
I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't get that help from them. So yeah, I can get upset and angry with them, but they're like, no matter how upset I get with them, they're still gonna be right there to make sure I'm staying on the right track and I'm doing what I have to do so that my future can be better.
I can't predict their futures. I can't judge them on their past. But what I can do is give them the skills and the tools that they'll need to be the best successful version of what they think is themselves.
Somebody's always gonna knock you down and tell you that you can't do it. You just gotta look past that and use it as constructive criticism. Maybe you're doing something wrong that needs to be better.
Our youth are either on the streets, or they're entangled in the streets, or they're about to be on the streets. All of that cannot come into my classroom, and they're very aware of that. It holds them to a standard, but it's not in a punitive way. I'm holding to a standard because I know you can do something better, and you know you can do something better.
I'm proud of myself that I actually did it, that I actually finished and stuck through the program.
I'm excited to be able to go on to like the next chapter and see what else there is in store for me.